What's good? Welcome back to another episode of Where the Money At, and we on episode 17, and we keeping it rocking and rolling. So today we focused on cryptocurrency, and what we're going to discuss today is Bitcoin's price action, the ridiculous volatility that's still in the space at the moment, and how an older gentleman got scammed out of his life savings in a cryptocurrency scam and how it could have been avoided. So let's get right into it. We're going to start off with just the market and its price action. So if we look at Bitcoin, it's currently sitting at 30,500, and in the last 7 days has went up 15, almost 16%. Ethereum sitting at 1880, pretty much 1900, and it's went up about 10% in the last 7 days. And we understand this is because of the BlackRock ETF news and the Fidelity news and all these banks coming out with their own crypto exchanges. And I feel like we're just a little high off of this good news, because if we look at it, we had this previous channel here that was kind of on a downtrend and we broke up out of it. So I think the market was very, very desperate for some bullish news, and we got it. So if we take a look deeper into it, we're sitting roughly around 30,600, and they had this down range and we broke up from it. So the new possible range could possibly sit somewhere in between 31, 32, and 30 grand. We could range in there, but if you want to take a more educated guess, let's look at it from the fib retracement level, coming from the all-time high of 70,000 to the local low of about 14, 15. It looks like at the 236, we were trying to make it a resistance, but it looks like we could possibly turn that into support. We broke above and it came down, so that's failed support. So I think if we come down and it fails again, we could stay in between the 326 and the 157 for a little while, because we still have this big long-term downswing coming. Or, like I said earlier, with the new range, we could just stay in between the levels of 31 and 28 based off of this fib retracement from the local lows to the local highs. As we can see, between the 326 and the 317, we could stay in this range, or we could break down and head to lower levels. I don't know what's going to happen, but in the macro time frame, nothing's really changed. We've been at these price levels before, back in April. So I know crypto Twitter and everybody's super excited about what's going on, but once you zoom out and you can take a deep breath, you can realize nothing has fundamentally changed. But what I want to get into today is talking about the extreme price volatility that's still in this asset class today. For example, let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's start off in 2021. Let's start off around 2021. Within 2021, we touched 30,000, went up to 65,000, came back down to 30,000, and still touched 70,000, all in 12 months. That's 2021. If we go to 2022, we touched 32,000, came up to 48,000, came all the way down to 15, 16,000. Now, when you zoom out and you look at it like that, that's some extreme price volatility. And in 2023, we've been at 16,000 and we've touched 30,000, 31,000. So my point is, and what I want to convey to you is, there's still a lot of volatility in this market, which is why possibly institutions are still staying away from it. But what I want to implore to you is, if you look back, if you take a step back and take your time and look at it, you will probably, and none of this is financial advice, you will probably have the opportunity to execute your plan. That's why it's so important to look at it from the large scale view, figure out exactly what you want to do, figure out where you want to get in, and have plans of where you want to get out. Because with all this volatility, it's likely that you'll have the opportunity to catch the price targets that you want to get in at, and then maybe in the future, in the next bull run, have some pretty good profits and pretty good opportunities to exit. So we're only 6 months into this year. Imagine what the next 6, 12, 18 months of price action is going to look like. We have no idea how low and how high we could touch. But that's what I want to implore to you, and I want everybody to remain calm and just not get too uptight and overexcited about what happens on the daily price action. But the main thing I want to get into is this story here. It's an NPR article titled, "He Lost $340,000 to a Crypto Scam. Such cases are on the rise." This story came out just yesterday. Now, I have no idea how true or how much grain of salt we should take with this story, but I'm pretty sure there's hundreds of stories that have happened like this in real life, and we're gonna go through it and discuss what happened. I'm gonna probably read from about here to maybe about right here, and then we'll break down what happened in the story. And I'll try to be as sympathetic as possible because losing money is no laughing matter. But there were ways and things that we could discuss, and then we're going to go through and figure out how it could have been avoided. I know hindsight is 2020, but we need to talk about these things. So let's get into it. He lost $340,000 to a crypto scam. Such cases are on the rise. Neum Latzman was sure his cryptocurrency investments were making money. Every time he logged into the trading platform he was using, it looked like he was reaping windfall profits. But Latzman, in fact, was one of the growing number of people who's fallen victim to cryptocurrency scams. "I've heard and read, but somehow I thought I'm not going to be one of them," he said. Latzman, 74, turned to cryptocurrency investments after the pandemic upended his life. He runs a business selling equipment and supplies to restaurants in the Los Angeles area, but many of them were shut down when the lockdown orders went into effect. "I lost a lot of clients because of them." At the same time, his retirement savings, which he managed himself, took a hit as the pandemic graded stock markets, I guess, disseminated or took an L, whatever. One day he was scrolling on Instagram and stumbled upon a post from a company called Spirebit. Its website says it's an international financial broker based in London and helps people invest in cryptocurrencies. He decided to try it. An online friend and a false sign of success. After Latzman opened an account, a company representative who called himself Pavel reached out on the messaging app Telegram. He wrote in Russian, Latzman's native language. They began chatting regularly, swapping details about vacations and families and about their shared background from the Soviet Union. So he initially transferred $500 into the account. It seemed promising. When he signed in, it appears that the investment nearly doubled in a matter of weeks. Over several months, Pavel goaded him to invest more and more of his money. Eventually, Latzman poured his entire life savings, totaling more than $340,000 into the Spitfire account. When he logged in, he saw a very compelling fake platform that looked like the money was being deposited and that money was growing, his son said. But it wasn't growing at all. The charts on the Spitfire account depicted earnings growth were fake. Latzman discovered this when he attempted to withdraw money from the account. Spirebit sent over a document purporting to be from Barclays, the British bank. It said Latzman must send Spitfire Spirebit 2% of the account he was requesting as a security measure. So I'm gonna stop right there. You know what I'm saying? Let's just go through and break it down. The parts I want to really get into. Let's see. This is the part I really feel for him for. He runs a business selling equipment and supplies to restaurants in Los Angeles, and he took a hit when the pandemic happened. So he had his business. I'm pretty sure he worked hard to build it up, and the pandemic just disseminated a lot of people's businesses like that. I feel for him about that. But here's where he starts to lose me. He managed his own retirement accounts. Okay, so he's in charge of his own retirement accounts, this money. So he has to do the due diligence and the research on everything he's investing his retirement money in. So he was scrolling on Instagram and saw this company and decided to invest in it. So from what it seems like to me, he didn't do any due diligence into this company at all. Because if I pull up Spirebit, I keep messing up. Okay, they have an okay looking website, and not only they say they do cryptocurrencies, they do stocks, commodities, stock indices, precious metals, government bonds, and I just looked it up, Spirebit.com. And one red flag for me was, they got a WhatsApp number, and also a big thing was he opened an account and a representative reached out to him on Telegram. look, I know they're trying to paint this as a cryptocurrency scam, but any financial institution promising to make you money with ridiculous returns and reaching out to you on, not email, not the respected traditional ways, you have to be wary of. So all I did was, look, here's their logo right here. All I did was go to LinkedIn and I found their page, and their page has 3 followers and 3 employees. Yeah. This looks like the same logo and the same little AI guy that's all over the page. Yep, that's him. That's the guy. But they claim to have 200 to 500 employees, and 3 of them are on LinkedIn. So let's look at the people who work there. Go back to my old video on how to do research on these crypto projects and all this stuff. We talked about all this. So they got 3 people working there: the CEO, the founder, and a business analysis. And you can't even look at them. You can't even look at these people. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to tear into him too much because he is an older gentleman. But this is an older gentleman who says he manages his own retirement accounts. So you have to do the due diligence. And it took me 30 seconds to look at this and understand this may not be a company I want to invest into. You know what I'm saying? So I say 10 minutes of research can save you a ton of money, but in this case, literally 30 seconds of research could have saved him $340,000, his life savings. So that's a way, and this is going on everywhere, not just with older people, but young people. And let's just be honest, there's a million ways to get scammed in this space. You can get honeypot. You can invest in a project that's really just BS. You can invest in a trading platform that's not really real. So when it comes, I'm gonna just say it like this, especially for older people, don't invest in something you don't understand. Period. If you feel like you're past the point where you can understand cryptocurrency, like I believe a 75-year-old should, I don't feel like 75-year-olds should be investing in cryptocurrency. It's too new of an asset class. There's more traditional routes and more stable ways and places to put your money in that could grow with a higher guarantee return that's probably FDIC insured. I just wouldn't recommend investing in anything you don't understand. So I'm gonna leave it at that, and I'm pretty sure there's a million stories. So if you know any stories like this, just comment below and let me know what you think. But this is a dangerous space, and I really want to implore to all of you to do your due diligence and do your research, and go back to that video where I discussed how I research these companies and what I look for, or just go to LinkedIn. That's all I did. Just go to LinkedIn, because there's many horror stories of this happening, and I really don't want that to happen to any of you out there. I have taken L's in cryptocurrency. You're not going to be in this space and not take L's, but I don't want to ramble on too much. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me, and we're going to come out with another episode and keep talking about this money. Appreciate y'all.